Hey kids, it's Learning with Miss Lori. I bet you can't guess what we're learning about today. Since we're going to talk about flowers and plants, you can go ahead and call yourself a botanist, because a botanist is a student or a scientist that studies plants. Now, when you study something, you got to write down all the information. You got to measure your flower. You got to figure out what color it is. You got all kinds of stuff you have to do. Now, what happens with all that information? It goes on the back of a seed packet. And if the plant comes already in dirt, you pull this little tag out and your information is right here. What's important on these is what kind of plant is it? How far apart do you plant it? Does it like sun or does it like shade? How much water? Everything you need to know to successfully grow something. Now, one thing that nature takes care of all on its own without any help from us human beings is all inside the plant. Now, you got your plant. You got all kinds of little stems, and at the end of your stems, there's leaves, there's flowers. This little guy didn't open yet. And then underneath the soil, you've got roots. And the roots are what take up the water and all the nutrients to give yourself a nice green and growing plant. Now, up top, above the dirt, you've got this beautiful little flower. This flower happens to be a tulip. And the beauty of it, the color of it, and that lovely fragrance attracts bees and other bugs, including hummingbirds. And deep inside, when you peel back these petals, like peeling a banana, inside you've got the important parts. This is what makes stuff happen. In the middle here, this guy in the middle, that's the pistil. That's where all the pollen gets collected. And on these little guys all the way around, that's the stamen. Sometimes people call them the anther or the filament. But on the ends here, there's this stuff called pollen. It's yellow. It sticks to the legs of bugs, especially bees. And when they fly from one flower to another and they land in there, all that pollen gets collected right on that pistil, and it goes right down the pollen tube to the base that they call the receptacle. Just like eating ice cream. It goes down the pollen tube to your belly. Yum. And that's where all the good stuff happens to make these guys grow in abundance. Now, some flowers, they're called self-seeding. They don't need human beings. Dandelion, very important plant. It's the first plant up in the spring. It's the first thing that bees get to eat. And we need bees. Why do we need bees? A lot of people are afraid of them. Some people are allergic to them. We need bees because if it wasn't for them collecting pollen, we wouldn't have plants. We wouldn't have vegetables. Oh, life would be really hard without bees. But these guys, and you've seen them before, you know a dandelion will turn into this big white puffy thing. And when you blow it, poof, or the wind takes it, all these funny little helicopters. There's a little seed on the end of a very fine stem, and they float on the wind into other people's yards and plant themselves. Now, thanks for stopping in and learning with me. See you next time.